very cheesy, weird builds, but they worked, man. He was playing the player, not the matchup. So it's very, very well done. His knowledge on Neeb could prove fruitful as well. But something that we got to look at here as far as these matchups go, like I mentioned, we haven't seen a whole lot of... Wait, sorry?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen a whole lot of, I guess, ZVPs from Lambo. But Neeb, in the qualifiers for this tournament, so the European qualifier, he defeated some absolute monsters. Neeb actually, he 3-0'd sort of, 2-0'd a laser, and then a 3-1 over the Italian Zerg, Reina, who's another Zerg that gets brought up when we're talking about, you know, the guy under Serral as far as Zergs go in Europe. Now, that is a very, very convincing result as far as your PvZ goes. Clearly, it's quite powerful.
Yeah, and he's always been known for his PvZ for a very long time, just solid all around, and not even with a cheesy style or anything, just kind of playing standard, you know, like back when the meta was Stargate every single game, going for oracles, maybe a single Phoenix to snipe some overlords, and into stuff like Adept and Harassment. So the meta has changed. We've seen that the nidus is a very important part of the matchup currently. That doesn't mean that we are necessarily going to see it every single game, but Lambo, I'm sure, very well aware of the strain of that, and you can kind of play around that, you know, like when something's very strong, that doesn't mean you have to use it all the time, but you can keep that in mind, maybe threaten or pretend that you might use that, and then react accordingly depending on what the opponent's doing.
Yeah, Lambo is an incredibly intelligent player. He's actually been streaming a lot, and I'm a big fan of his stream. He also has been putting out some YouTube content on things like how to react and how to adjust your builds based on what you scout. Specifically in this matchup as well as a video, he's got a video out. So it's really, you know, he's got big brain gaming is what I'm trying to say. This guy is incredibly intelligent. He knows pretty much everything about everything as far as his matchup goes, but he is up against a mechanical monster.
I think he even makes videos on, like, you know, how to inject. Or like the way to inject like most effectively and all that. So it's really nice to see like some of these pro players, because I mean, as far as, you know, people that make videos and tutorials, it doesn't really get any higher in level than an actual pro player like Lambo that competes at the highest level. So we do have a Stargate opener here from Neeb. Not surprised by that, you know, like stuff like oracles. When you're as solid as Neeb, I feel like Neeb, he's good at many things. You know, he's got good macro and all that, but overall, his mechanics, for me, is like one of the biggest things. And he's been really good with his mechanics for a very long time. And I feel that that's why he was ahead of the curve for a long time as well. Like, before Serral came around and kind of dethroned him, he was the best player outside of South Korea for quite some time.
Yeah, 2017 was his year, even though he won Kesper Cup in 2016. 2017 can't be argued. You know, he won WCS after WCS after WCS, only dropping one of them. That was Valencia with a laser. And he's going to get rid of this Overlord in front of that natural. Now, Lambo also has a video on Adept defense, which we're seeing here as a little bit of Adept harassment from Neeb. Lambo already has that important creep tuber in the front of that natural to make defending with his queens a little bit easier, being able to chase that shade a little bit deeper as well.
That would be funny if Neeb just like shaded in and killed like 15 drones. He's like, debunk that myth. Where's your video now? Make a video about that one.
I don't imagine Lambo would upload that one as an instructional video on his YouTube, if that did happen. But as we can see so far, his defense is quite solid. These shades, these Adepts of Neeb are just looking for drone damage or any kind of tech or scouting as well. It's also fantastic. The Oracle and the Phoenix are about to link up so they can try and get some drone damage. The Phoenix lifts up the Queen, the Oracle does the rest.
Yeah, good timing on the spores, but I think it's the natural where he's keeping that. Yeah, I like the Phoenix to pick up some of these units. Yeah, the natural is where there isn't any spores, so it's almost like a mini gamble. I think, is it the Adepts that he's sending into the natural?
Yeah, they certainly are. One Adept gets surrounded, and that makes this defense a lot easier here, as they're not one-shotting drones anymore. Does get 4 drones before dying, which, you know, it's not terrible trade, but it's not amazing either. Also, losing that Oracle, well, that changes things. Losing the Oracle means that Lambo's actually had a pretty solid defense here. And
there's going to be a glaive follow-up here from Neeb, whereas Lambo goes straight into the Hydralisk den here. So, no Baneling Nest, no Rotron, it's just going to be a ton of Hydralisks, and then from there he can decide whether he wants to add Banelings, maybe, or go into Lurkers later on. And if he wants to be aggressive or not, that's the big question, because some Zergs, you don't need to push them that hard. You just kill a couple drones and they're like, all right, enough is enough. I'm just going to attack you and kill you because you've thrown away units to kill some of my economy. I don't want to have to rebuild that. I'll just make a ton of units, attack you. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on the production tab here. We see 2 more Overlords on the way, and for now it's just going to be Hydralisks being made. If Lambo doesn't resume drone production, I'm going to guess he wants to attack very soon.
I'm with you there, man. We've got Groove Spines being researched. I think if Lambo was going to hit like immediately, then he'd probably be seeing muscular augments. But Groove Spines makes a ton of sense. Be able to defend against these Stargate units a little bit easier. Be able to defend against these Adepts a lot easier. Neeb going for double robotics facility here, and that's kind of what's been happening a lot in this matchup. Yeah. Getting the double Robo and Immortal production really does make you go toe-to-toe with Roach, Hydra, and Lurker. All of which options that Lambo likes to use in this matchup. Big shade forward from Neeb, but so many Hydras. And with Groove Spines finishing up shortly enough, that'll make the defense a little bit easier. However, he is losing a few Hydras here. The Adepts starting to push through with their resonating glaives.
Really good kiting from Lambo here. Minimizing his losses on the Hydralisk. If he had just stood close to the Adepts, he would have lost a lot more. The Adepts getting into the main base, but they're not achieving drone damage here. And a lot of them are going to die here in a second. Even though it looks like Neeb might be able to escape with some of them. And I think Lambo read perfectly what Neeb was doing. He said, I'm only going to make a ton of Hydralisks from now, even though he makes a couple drones now. I'm going to make sure I defend, and then I'll be able to counter-attack if I want to. But as we see the Immortal production starting now, I actually wonder if there is a timing, and Lambo actually goes back into droning. But yeah, he made units at the right time here. If he had made a couple more drones instead of Hydralisk, I actually think he would have taken a ton of damage from these Adepts.
It was pretty close to perfect there from Lambo. Very, very nice defense. And now that he has this army supply advantage, you could even think about going across the map. Without muscular augments, though, it's kind of like you can check in, but you can't check out situation. If you get overwhelmed, your units will generally die because they have the, it's harder for them to retreat. Lambo's going to go up for the Lurker Den here. Something that's the European Zergs loved against Protoss for so long, sort of fell out of fashion a bit for like the Roach Hydra instead. But now I'm loving to see this Lurker Den getting used again.
Yeah, and it's actually almost like unconventional in a way, like, you just go for like a ton of Hydralisk and straight into Lurkers. There once upon a time you wouldn't even have considered that. It would have been, either a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, but nowadays the Zergs have gotten so good at droning up to the perfect amount with minimizing the damage as much as possible that they can actually go for stuff like that. And then off the back of something like Lurkers, you can easily go into the hive, kind of slow things down, sometimes get swarm hosts later on. It's really like up to how aggressive you want to be once you reach those Lurkers. Like some Zergs, they just like to play super aggressive. Guys like Nurchio, they'll just go for drops and all that. But with the new nidus, it actually almost makes no sense anymore to go for stuff like drop. You just get straight across the map from like your base and your hatcheries.
Dropper Lords are inferior in almost every single way versus the new Nidus Worm. I mean, yes, they can fly, but that's about it.
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter whether you fly or you tunnel across the map in this case. Tunneling might actually be a whole lot better.
Yeah, I mean, also your army can get in and get out way quicker with the Nidus, which is a huge deal. Storm just starting here for Neeb. The Immortal count also not too bad. He's already on 4 with a lot of sentries. This army is built for carving up Hydralisks with Storm and be even stronger. Lambo just primarily Hydra and Ling. He's morphing in some Lurkers now. Skip the Baneling Nest completely, but honestly, he doesn't need them as much as he just needs a big ball of Lurker Hydra.
Yeah, the force fields are going to be really nice to make sure he minimizes damage here for Neeb. You don't want to stay out on the map like this for too long, but I think he's just trying to delay the push that he knows is coming anyway so that he can have enough Immortals plus Storm. And now we do see the Nidus going up into main base.
I think he's going to kill it though. Yeah, it's too many Zealots.
By the way, Maru lost to Trap.
Wow.
0-2.
Well, that's not a... I mean, Trap is his teammate, so maybe he just knows how Maru likes to play that style. Wouldn't read into that too much, but it is a pretty cool result.
Is it though? You played Saren, right?
I played Saren, but, other races are allowed to win, Todd.
Yeah. For sure.
From time to time. Not too often. Not too often. We have a Nidus here getting up for Lambo, but he doesn't get to unload a ton of his army. He's just 4 Lurkers, and it looks like they're just getting unloaded to go home.
Yeah, I mean, Lurkers by themselves are not that scary. And we're reaching the point here where there is a lot of Immortals. What has he got? Like 5, 6, 7?
Yeah, and it looks like
7, yeah, this is
Neeb's playing Nidus Whack-A-Mole here, and he's doing a pretty good job of it.
He got his own tunnel. It's called Recall.
Yeah, that's right.
It feels like Lambo's investing a lot. I mean, obviously the Nidus, they're pretty cheap, but he made a ton of units here, and he stayed on a lower walker count. 66 drones to 72 probes here, so Lambo has to do a lot of damage here in the near future. I mean, killing that 4th base would be nice, but it feels like he needs to take a fight. Another Nidus going up in the main base at the same time. Storm is ready.
Yeah, nice Storm there from Lambo. Still a lot more units to deal with. The main's getting hit by this Nidus Worm, but it looks like it might have been cleaned up there from Neeb. Just a few more units left over in that main mineral line, getting some of those probe kills. Storm's also hitting in here. It looks like the Zealot Warpin has cleaned up what was left there of Lambo. We've got a first-person view here of the Germans going for another Nidus in that natural. Picking off a High Templar earlier was a nice pick-off, but there's still plenty more bad weather here for Neeb, making things a little bit tough for this Ling Hydra army. It's so light. Takes so much damage from the splash damage.
Yeah, he's playing this right. He's trying to hit in so many different places at once, but Neeb's split has been beautiful, and his micro as well, trapping some of these Hydralisks, always cancelling all of those Niduses going up in every single base. Lambo is dropping 2 Nidus simultaneously, I think.
Yeah.
But even that, like, he's not breaking through the defense so far, but he's gonna set up a
this high ground.
On the high ground.
Yeah, this high ground is really fantastic. Neeb's army is sort of caught with a weird location here. It's on move command, getting a lot of Locust Spine damage on it. Neeb might have just given up this position a little bit too quickly here, and Lambo's finding a very strong attack path. More Nidus Worms popping out, with the Lurkers also keeping it protected from the ground army of Neeb. Neeb pulls back, gets rid of one of the Nidus Worms, but with Lambo's high ground again, this is so tough for Neeb to get up there. He's going to try.
He's setting up a huge 360 engagement here.
And he's getting some really nice storms. And Neeb, this immortal count is almost comical. When there's this many immortals, Lambo actually has to avoid the army. He can't stand and fight against this many.
Yeah, Hydralisks get back into the main base. Do they evacuate again through the Nidus? No, they're just going to stay and trade. Okay, up until the last second, then they do get out. I think the 4th base is still being attacked, by the way.
And
okay, when does this end?
It doesn't. It's cheap. Why wouldn't you do it? He's in there, and the Hydras are picking up a few of these Immortals, but the Storms with the Immortals together are still thinning out Lambo's army. Neeb still behind in army supply. Pro's being pulled. It looks like the Archon's really putting the damage on this Nidus. Down it goes again. This is stressful, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to praise more, the offense of Lambo or the defense of Neeb here so far. They're both doing such a great job. Just a couple more mistakes from Neeb here, and Lambo already would have won. And Niduses are still going the... That's crazy. That's the craziest last 5 minutes I've seen in PvZ.
Just 66 drones, make units, make Nidus Worms, and just multitask your opponent to death. Make no mistake, guys, this looks easy, but it is not. Lambo is all over the place, hitting in 3 places at the same time. Got a Nidus at the back of the mineral line, while microing Hydras at the front of that 3rd base, and then it looks like another one potentially going up the main base as well. Lambo popping up. The Hydra's doing a lot of probe damage here. Neeb not looking at this attack for a second there.
Yeah, the problem with trading like this is that he's lost a lot of his High Templars, and he's still got 4 here with some of these Storms. Lambo looking to try and trade effectively enough that he can close the game out here in a second, being up on 4 bases. He's actually making drones here again. He just made 7, so I think he might be content for now with the damage that he did.
Yeah.
How many Immortals are we down to? Because some of these actually died.
Down to 7 with 5 High Templar. I actually think that Neeb could go across the map here and put it on attack, man. Like, yes, these Lurkers and these Hydras and Lings have been putting in so much damage, but they haven't ended the game. They knocked Neeb down to 3 bases, which does suck. But Lambo's economy, like you mentioned, he hasn't droned in quite a while here, and Neeb is going for a big counterattack.
Yeah, Lambo is stuck on lair tech here. No chance to go for a hive. He needs to make more units, make sure he doesn't die to this attack yet. Neeb, okay, needs to pull back here. I don't think he can move up that ramp quite yet. He does have a bunch of Storms, which are really the scary thing here for Lambo, who's still threatening across the map with his Niduses consistently.
Yeah, this Nidus is empty though, so Neeb's got some charge lots on that duty. Big concave for Lambo. And he's just trying to dodge the Storm at the moment. Gets an Archon pick off. That's a nice unit to pick off here. The High Templar taking a bit of damage from those Lurkers, but they take it down. There's a lot of observers here with the army of Neeb as well, so he will have detection, and the Immortals are outputting sick damage with their +2 attack.
Yeah, Lambo's doing a very good job of not overcommitting against the Storms. Very nice move here by Neeb, sending some units in the main base while threatening the 4th base. If he takes the high ground, he can just make sure he has Storm for that ramp here.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a snipe on that 4th base.
Very nicely done here from Neeb, keeping his cool during all of the Nidus harassment here, and also finding 15 drone kills, and he recalls back home. Peace. Very nice, mature decision-making there from Neeb. He knows he's ahead, and he will just get further ahead.
Yeah, and he's starting to have so many High Templars and Immortals that for Lambo to counter this army is going to be so difficult. Still being stuck on lair tag, that means no adaptive talents here for his Lurkers.
And also no Great Aspire, no Brood Lords, all the things that you'd want to have against this high of an Immortal count is just not there.
The Glass Cannon army, Mass Hydralisks.
That's right.
That many High Templars.
And you get enough Immortals back out. I mean, the one thing I guess Neeb is missing right now is +3 attack. That would be really sick for his army at the moment. But he's just getting the job done already with +2 attack, so who am I to criticize? Getting rid of one of those Nidus Worms, pushing his way through. It's like Lambo trying to find Neeb's army and get a big surround on it, but Neeb is pulling back to the 3rd base for defenses.
The Observer! Oh, he can almost see it. Neeb needs to be careful. If he loses that, he won't have detection, and then that's how you die to lurkers. Lambo is setting up a flank from behind. If he can snipe some of these item class, he might be able to win the fight behind this, but Neeb's still being really careful, landing some of these storms on top of this army.
Oh, a reinforcement with more Immortals and High Templar coming in for the natural as well. Neeb destroying the army of Lambo here. The Archons even cleaning up some Hydras on the north side of the map. How is Neeb getting such wonderful engagements here against the scary army of Lambo? The Immortals just barreling through those lurkers.
And he's got 4 observers. Even if he was going to lose the one, that wouldn't have been enough.